It's been a rough and tumble road on this Kiwi Dream project, but the latest spaces in this 1950s gem are nearing completion. We've been working on the barbecue area. The Blue Cross guys have just started on the deck. And then there's this space, the lounge, dining and kitchen area. It's been challenging, to say the least, with water damage problems and steel versus aluminium arguments. But somehow, so far anyway, we're managing to stumble through. The increasing theme of this project is all about the budget. We've had a small win with the difficult lounge room under floor preparation. This whole pre-floor process was budgeted to cost around $17,500. But the guy we used through a friend of a friend only charged $11,000, so that's a saving of $6,500, which is a welcome relief to the budget. It now means overall the budget is over by $31,200. Notwithstanding the digging versus thrusting issue, which frankly I'm trying not to think about right now. Pascal is helping out by making some little savings here and there in the outdoor barbecue area. Grass and shells are being laid, plants are going in, and a cantilevered umbrella from Weathermaster takes pride of place on the edge of the barbecue area. Then there's those 1950s tiles I gave to Pascal to include.
So we've taken those little tiles out of your bathroom, you remember? And I've laid them, just a hint of them, through here on the wall.
It's gorgeous. It is like a vintage constellation.
I know. So it's just a touch of the 50s, you know? So when you're walking down this hallway here and you look through the door, you just see a touch of that coming through and it just sort of draws you out.
Can we bring the colour of them out anymore?
Yeah. There's probably an enhancing sealer that we'll put on this wall and it'll just bring the colour out a little bit, yeah.
Now, I had thought that those tiles were going into the ground, the floor area, but we've ended up with shell all the way up to the door.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, this was concrete, but we've sort of changed that because of the budget. But in order not to get that shell inside, what we're thinking about doing is putting a duckboard through here so people can sort of brush the shell off as they walk in.
We have the results back on the site survey conducted on the makeup of what lies beneath the driveway. And it's a little bit of good news. It's not volcanic rock, it's just soil, which means we're able to do the less expensive, less intrusive on the neighbours option of thrusting. Scott Thrusting are forcing a horizontal hole which will house power, telecommunications cables and mains water pipes. It's an interesting process. The thrusting machine is basically a big directional drill. It has a spinning rod that bores its way through the soil, and as it progresses, more 3-metre lengths of rod are added. The spinning rod also has a location beacon on the head that is tracked by another device that kind of works like an ultrasound. This keeps track of where the rod is travelling under the ground. A really annoying part of this whole procedure is the best access point at the house end is on the corner where we recently fixed the water damage problem. I can barely watch this. Breathe, Evie, breathe. However, my attention soon turns to a much graver problem emerging inside the new underfloor. As Timber Floor Solutions prepare to lay the floor, they notice the surface has become seriously uneven in places. This is a significant problem. You obviously can't lay a floor on an uneven, unstable surface. The mystery to why is solved after a probing square hole is cut. It appears the plywood that supports the underfloor heating has come away from the glue and is buckling. We obviously have to make contact with this so-called friend of a friend to see how this can be rectified, but he seems to be having trouble answering his phone.
Finally got hold of the contractor who's responsible for this god-awful flooring job. He's in Vegas, as you are, after you've finished a dodgy flooring job, and he says he's done a good job, there's no problems there, and he's not interested. And then he hung up on me. Nice guy. So I am now $11,000 down, and I still don't have a flooring solution. And I have to break the news to Michael. Yeah, no, I have got him on the phone this time, but he's just hung up on me. There's no way I'm going to get that contractor back to fix this floor up.
So what you're saying is he doesn't want to know about it?
He doesn't want to know, Mike, and we're going to have to come up with another solution, I think.
Well, hey, look, we'll just go back to plan A. We'll get Max and the guys from Seeker in here to sort this out.
Okay.
Potentially this could really hold the job up, so
Yeah, I know,
we've got to
I
get
know.
on it. Well, hey, the good thing is you haven't paid him, so, you know, it's good. Have you?
He insisted on being paid before he went to Vegas.
Okay. Told you so.
Meanwhile, the second part of the thrusting operation is underway. The rod is now reversed and used to pull the cables and pipes back through the newly created hole. Green is telecommunications, orange is power, and blue is water. All of them needed to be upgraded due to the higher demands from the new appliances, features and plumbing additions. Once the cables are through, it's time to tidy up the mess for a second time. A new set of drainage is laid in the ditch, and before you know it, it's like nothing ever happened. But there's no covering up that plenty did happen, and it shows on the budget. Even though the thrusting was the cheaper option, it still cost $14,400. Add to that the redigging of the ditch and relaying of a drainage system at a cost of $7,200, and I find myself over budget by a very worrying $52,800. And I still don't know what the financial implications are due to the floor crisis in the living room. Above the deck, the Blue Cross boys are installing an awning from Weathermaster. This will extend and retract by remote control, so there's maximum flexibility depending on the weather. While the floor has been taking up my attention, the Blue Cross guys have been quietly getting on with the deck area. The joists have been laid and a floating timber deck is taking shape. It's been designed to perfectly match the height of the lounge room floor, so there is an uninterrupted indoor-outdoor flow. The concrete lip on the deck is cut away, and then the glass balustrades from Euroglass are screwed into position. They're a chunky 15mm thick to withstand people leaning on them or strong winds, given this is potentially an exposed site. The look of these balustrades is a masterstroke of our architect Dean. By bolting the glass on the side below the level of the decking, it creates an uninterrupted infinite look that flows all the way to the sea. This deck area, complete with the retractable awning, has turned out very nicely indeed. It makes the very best of a perfect situation perched here above Karaka Bay. It adds to the outdoor living spaces, something that's becoming a real feature of this property. And just by the way, this part of our project went without a hitch, on time and on budget. I only wish I could say the same for the underfloor in the main living room.
I'm not quite sure where to go to from here. Mike is telling me that I may need to rip up the lounge floor and start all over again. I'm really, really hoping it doesn't come to that. My $11,000 that I gave to Mr. Vegas, as I'm now calling him, it's gone, it's dead. I don't have my money and I don't have my underfloor. But it gets worse. If I do have to rip up the floor, that's a whole other job that I haven't budgeted for that needs a separate contractor to get that job done, just to bring us back to the blank canvas to get the floor done properly this time. This whole thing has been an absolute disaster. Note to self, listen to your project manager. He does know best.
Next week, we start demolishing and renovating the second bedroom, and it's a messy business indeed.
Snowing downstairs. Just come back from the North Pole.
Pascal has a delightful proposal for me,
Yes, yes, yes. Can I say yes again?
Absolutely, say yes.
and my heart is broken as I finally hit the financial wall.
Stop everything. The building, the filming.
Pick up your copy of Renovate magazine for advice and inspiration for home renovation.